Okay, we're ready to get the show on the road here. I'm Bill Harrington, the Director of Marketing for the Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association, and on behalf of Will Tiemann, who's the president, and today is at the Spartan Basketball Media Event. Welcome to our 5th annual Michigan State Tailgate Gathering. And we appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and thanks for coming. I'd like to thank the Skyline Club. They've done a great job with all the Michigan-based foods, and hopefully you enjoyed the brats. I know Jim Brandsetter did.
Very, very good people food.
Now today, this is a big week for sports. The Lions have now won 9 regular season games in a row with 4 preseason games. They had the big game on Monday night. Tigers won last night. Red Wings are 2-0. And this week is Michigan State week. And yes, we might get lost a little bit in the hoopla of what's going on downtown. Also, Roger Penske and Dave Bing announced this morning that the Grand Prix will be back on Belle Isle next year. So there's a lot happening in Detroit, and we should be real pleased about that. I'd like to recognize several people here. Recognize our exec board, president of the Detroit Lions Quarterback Club, Jim Ryan.
Oh, man.
Former president, former chairman of the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, Bill Wishman, and treasurer of the DSBA. Past president of the DSBA, Jim Brandsetter. The voice of the non-working Detroit Pistons and the voice of the Spartan football team, George Blaha. And a former Lion great, Roger Zakoff. The Michigan State game is one of the oldest rivalries in college sports. There's been 103 games played. The first game was played in 1898. It's a game that both teams, it's followed nationally. Obviously, it's followed very closely in the state of Michigan. And it is one of the premier events of the state of Michigan. I remember growing up, people would just ask you, well, who you root for? Michigan or Michigan State? I went to State, Wayne State. And, and my son graduated from Michigan. So, I'm on the fence a little bit. Michigan right now holds the lead. I think they have a 36-game lead over Michigan State. But Michigan State's won the last 4 games. 3 games.
We haven't lost yet.
And it's a great thing to go on. It's a great thing to go online because you can find anything. And so going online, and I came across one of the sports analysts, and he was talking about the top best Michigan State games of all time. And we're not going to go through all 10, but we narrowed it down. I just want to talk about 5 of them. And then we're going to see a little highlight of one of them. The number 5 best game, Michigan State game of all time was the 1997 game where Charles Woodson and the Wolverines pierced the Spartans apart and won 23-7. And the number 4 game we'll come back to. The number 3 game was the 2007 game where Chad Henne to Mario Manningham, and that was Coach D'Antonio's first year. And the number 2 game, according to this analyst, was the 1990 game. The Spartan upset number 1 Michigan when Desmond Howard dropped Elvis Gerbach's slant pass. And the number 1 game, according to this analyst, was the 2004 Braylon Fest, where it went into triple overtime. And finally, Michigan pulled it out. They had scored in the last 14 points in the last 8 minutes to win that game. But the number 4 game, and this will show you the passion that people have for Michigan and Michigan State, especially in our broadcast community. You have the Michigan side and the Michigan State side, and then you have the national side. And Art Bulow is going to press the button and turn on this magical moment. Art's coming up here to.
And Smoker's going to roll to his right. He can run. Foot's after him. He missed him. Smoker down to the 1. He's to the 1. The clock is running. 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smoker spikes the ball, and the clock had stopped. The clock had stopped and run. They stopped the clock, Jim. They stopped the clock when they shouldn't have. Jim, that clock should have run out.
I know, Frank. I know.
Watch out, Hagen! Watch out! Okay, in the shotgun, Smoker from the 2. He's going to score the ball. Look at Larry Stevens being held. The pass into the end zone. Caught for a touchdown by Duncan. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jim, this game was stolen from the Michigan Wolverines. And Smoker spiked the ball. He had no time left. They stopped the clock with a second to go before he threw it. Larry Stevens was nearly undressed on the pass rush on the final play. And Smoker heaved it up into the end zone where Duckett caught it for the game-winning touchdown. Unbelievable. I've done Michigan football for 21 years. And I can tell you, my friends, I've never, ever seen a team robbed in a football game like this one was today.
We're down to 17 seconds, no timeouts, second and goal at the Michigan 3, Michigan 24, and the Spartans 20. Rogers and Haygood to the right, Geo Camera on the left. Moss was Smoker in the shotgun. Jeff rolls to his right, wants to run, fights his way to the 1-yard line. 11 seconds to go. The Spartans are now going to try and get to the line of scrimmage. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. They get it spiked with 1 second left. It is spiked with 1 second to go.
The Michigan team was already out on the field getting ready to celebrate. Wow.
The ball is at the 2. And we have 1 second to go. The ball's at the 2. 1 second to go. To the right, TJ and Rogers. Jeff Smoker takes the shotgun snap. Throws to his right. Wants to throw back left and does. It's up for grabs in the end zone. It is caught. It's caught by TJ. Touchdown! MSU! The Spartans win! The Spartans win! TJ's being snowed under by his teammates in the end zone. Spartans win!
What a
2-yard touchdown toss.
Those passions are real high there, you know.
What a heads-up play and a great grab by TJ.
TJ Duckett, who made the play, went up high in the end zone for the catch. One of the great plays of Michigan State football history.
TJ with a perfect concentration catch for the winning touchdown. The winning touchdown. The Spartans win. Do you believe it?
No.
Gives Michigan State a chance.
Goes hard to the right. Not going to get there. Clock continues to move. Third down coming up. The Spartans have to hurry. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Smoker bounces it with 1 second to go. They're going to get one more play. Nice to have that whole clock right there. Timer was staying right there with that trigger, folks. It was halfway to the press. That thing was down before the ball hit the artificial turf. They spread the defense. Here's Smoker looking for it. High! Touchdown, Michigan State does it! Duck it! Duck it! The Spartans upset the Wolverines! Two out, bottom of the ninth inning, and the Spartans win.
So great and make this one of the top rivalries in college football. So we wanted to have the guys that really make things happen for the teams of quarterbacks. We wanted to have them here today to share with all of us some of the great experiences of Michigan State. Before we do that, someone I also want to recognize, a participant and member of the 1957 Spartan team, Danny Follis.
All right, Danny.
It's a long time ago. So I'm going to introduce the quarterbacks, and we're going to start out with Michigan State. He started quarterback for the Spartans in 1979 and 81 under Darrell Rogers. He received the Governor of Michigan Award as the most valuable player in 81. He was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in 1982 and had a 4-year NFL career. Let's welcome up here Brian Clark. Now, Brian, you want to go down to the Michigan State side here. From the University of Michigan, he was a quarterback from 1986 to 1989. He led the Wolverines to a Big Ten Conference championship in 1988 and defeated USC in the 1989 Rose Bowl. He was the Big Ten's passing efficiency leader for the 1988 season. Let's welcome up here Michael Taylor. From Michigan State, he was a quarterback from 1990 to 93, a 3-year starter for George Perlis. He is among MSU's all-time leaders in passing attempts, completions, completion percentage, and yardage. He had a 12-year career in the NFL, but currently he's an NFL analyst for Sirius Satellite Radio and a Comcast studio analyst for the Chicago Bears, and he's also the color analyst for the Spartans. Let's welcome up here Jim Miller. And finally, from the University of Michigan, an all-Big Ten quarterback in 1968, who led the Wolverines to a come-from-behind victory over MSU, handing them their first loss in that year, 28-14. He coached for 20 years at 4 Division I schools, 8 under U of M, 8 at U of M under Bo Schembechler. Let's welcome up here Dennis Brown. The dapper Dennis Brown. And to moderate our elite panel of quarterbacks, we have here the guy that I'm really happy for, because over the last, 13 Lions games and 6 Michigan games, this has been Mr. Happy Talk down in the locker room. You used to listen to me years ago, and it's, hi, this is Jim Brandstetter in the somber Detroit Lions locker room. And it was always a challenge of, how is this guy going to say something happy when all that was going on? But now he is. So to lead this panel, the color analyst for the Detroit Lions and the Michigan Wolverines, Jim Brandstetter.